Okay, this is me doing a oil pump on an 855 Cummins. It's a 1990 model. It's a 9170 case. This is a big cam, so took off these bottom two bolts on the pickup line, and then there's these other bolts that are holding it in, 5/8. There is 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 5 in total. I did have a jet kit on the back of this 27 gallon per minute pump. It's right there. It's on the back of it. Broke the shaft. Got to take it out and change the shaft, so that's why I'm taking it off. Yeah, I'll get those off and I'll get the pump out. Hey guys, I'm just working on the 855 big cam here. Gonna be doing a head gasket on here, as you can see. I'll get the light better, but it is leaking right there. You can see when it's running, it's bubbling out. So, going to pull the head first. I already got the intake manifold off here. It's not too hard. There's just this wiring harness in the front of it, 3 bolts, and obviously these bolts here are where they attach to. Drain the coolant. Then you got this line on the top, on the bottom. The intake tube. Take the clamp off, take the hose, push it forward, out of the way, and then you got the ether line, which you can just take off anyways. And then yeah, I'm gonna start working on the exhaust side. I'm gonna take off the clamp, and then I'm gonna try to take off, because there is sections where you can split the manifold, but that's probably not gonna work. So I'm gonna take the whole manifold off. I've let them soak for a little bit with deep creep, and take all the bolts off, and I'm gonna hopefully take the intake, exhaust, take all the exhaust bolts out, and take the whole manifold off as one. And then I can take this coolant header off, top here. Hopefully it splits right here, as you can see where my hand is. And then I can just pull that section off, so I can only do this head. And then yeah, then I can get into here, take the rocker arm off, rocker box, push rods and such, and then we'll take another video when I'm getting there. Okay everybody, I have the head back on here. Kind of skipped some steps there, but I can get to that for the removal part. Just on the torque pattern right now. If you look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 over here, and 12. And you step it 3 times. It's first is 25 foot-pounds, second is 100, and then the third one that I'm going to is now 285. But on the removal part here, all I had to do is I took this exhaust right off the muffler there, off the turbo that's right there, and then I removed all the exhaust bolts, drained the coolant, took the exhaust pipe off, put it down there, and then you take this coolant manifold off. It's just 4 bolts, 9/16, pop those out, and then that's all off. And then I took the valve cover off and loosened off. I made sure it wasn't injecting on either 5 or 6, and then made sure that I loosened off all the valves, unscrewed them out, loosened them off. So I'll have to reset the valves and reset the injector preload, and I'll show you that. These are top stop injectors. This is an 89 Cummins 855, so it's a top stop. And I'll show you my method of doing that. But I'm just going to do the final torque here, and I'll show you when I get the rocker box up, and I'm doing the valve set. So I'm setting the valves here. I've already set all of the valves I just went through it here. But so you have these, I'll show you, marks on the auxiliary drive. And right now, if you can see right there, there's a line on the edge. It says C. There is a better angle. And there's this kind of pointer thing on the front timing cover. So you kind of line them up. And there's more, like there's a B at the bottom right there and A's on the other side. So you basically go A through A, B, C to completely set the valves. So right now I'm on C, and I'll take this off here to show you. This one is just starting to inject. Okay, so on the diagram that I will share with you, it says, well, if you do the order, 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. That's the firing order on this thing. So 1's going right now, so that means you set the next injector, which is 5. And I'm going to set it here. It's actually not too hard to do. Well, I've already set it, but I'll just redo it here. So first things first, you want to bring it all the way down. So right there, that's already. So it's loose. Loosen it right off. If you're going to set these. Then you want to get it till it just gets firm there. And you go one full turn in to set everything. Make sure everything's good. And then you back her right back off. Full turn again. And you feel it get loose. So I don't have my inch-pound torque wrench. They say 5 to 6 inch-pounds. But I have always set them just get it tight there, see where it is, and go a quarter turn. So you go to quarter turn, you can feel it gets a little more stiff. You can it's pretty easy to feel. So you get it to where it gets tight, and then a quarter turn. If you have an inch-pound torque wrench that goes to 5 to 6 inch-pounds, that's awesome. You can do it that way too. Really, it actually ends up to be right around a quarter. I'm going to be changing these injectors out after this season, so I'm not 100% worried, but I've always run it like this. I have many hours on Cummins motors with just set a quarter turn. It works. So yeah, and the valves, exhaust is 23 thou and intake's 11. So if you're setting the bridges, I'll show you here. I just loosen them off, and then I'll do bridges first. So make sure it's loose and shit. This one's not right now, but say if you had it in the right position, like A, and you have it in A, and you see that 2 is rocking, and then you would come over here, and you would adjust 5. So I would loosen these 2 off, the bridges, push down on here, and I would loosen this off, like loosen the nut and loosen the screw inside, loosen it off until it's a couple turns out, push down on this, and then turn this in with a screwdriver until it just gets tight, just till it touches. You can feel it get snug. Stop it there, tighten the nut. So that's how I do the bridges. And then for the valves themselves, obviously put the feeler gauge under the bridge here, so loosen them off, and then this is intake, so you want to put 11 thou under here, and then you want to tighten this up, tighten the nut, and then yeah, 23, you know, tighten this until it's firm. You just want it so you can feel a drag back and forth with the feeler gauge, and then tighten it up. That's how you set injectors and valves on an 855 Cummins here. And this is the top stop injectors. I'm going to slap this bitch back together, call it a day for today, and then tomorrow put the exhaust manifold back on, intake, coolant lines and whatnot, put coolant in it, and exhaust. See how it sounds straight piped? I've took the baffles out of that, so that'll be cool. And well, here's the old girl running 855. I've ran it for quite a while now. I got, what is it, 9214. So I did that at 9077, so I guess it has 130-40 hours on it now. So yeah, it's ran pretty good. That's, yeah, with just the injectors, quarter turn, and the valve set I showed you there and everything. So yeah, I did the head gasket there, a valve set, injector set, oil pump. I did the shaft in it, so I screwed up and I put the Atom jet kit on, but I had two hoses mixed up, so deadheaded and broke that shaft. But so I did that. That's basically it. But yeah, it's ran good. So that's about an oil change on it. So I guess we'll see what it does in the fall. I'm hoping to do a bottom end and then new injectors, so we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season.